Salutations, gaming enthusiasts! Welcome to the next episode of Flatmates. Today we are talking about the Shroobs, a topic that is very near and dear to the hearts of one of us, I know that for sure.
That's right.
I expected a scream of excitement from my right ear there, but never mind.
His scream, there it is. His scream cut off for me, so all you hear is, yeah.
Yeah.
No!
So basically, since we're recording with my stuff, all the audience is going to hear it first. They heard the whole entire second stream, but now the audience is only going to hear, yeah, and that's it.
Yeah.
As if you're regretting your decision to be like, oh no, we're talking about Shroobs.
No!
You should have seen the Discord chat that we've got. Oh, he just erupted in lots of smiley face emojis.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
yeah, there was a lot of smileys.
I don't think
Yeah.
I've seen Shroob this excited over a topic, and we've done what 3 topics and talked about a couple already? Like,
We talked about the battle systems.
Yes.
That
So
says
far-
something.
So far with Flatmates, we have spoken about very broad
Blood.
I don't know how to speak. That's great for a YouTuber. We've spoken about very broad topics, talking about the story of Mario and Luigi, the battles of Paper Mario, our favourite RPGs in general. But today, I thought that would delve a little bit into more specific territory with the Mario RPGs and talk about the Shroob race. Basically, kind of freestyle with that and see how interesting we can make that. And like, what brought on this idea for me was with last time's episode. In the comment section of that, you can go and look at the comment section of that if you want to. I spoke to somebody. It was Super Paper Mario Fangirl. I
yeah,
think they were called.
yeah, Super Paper
Yeah,
Mario Fangirl and Trash, I believe it was called.
Yeah. So they're going to be very happy to be mentioned in this.
Very
But,
happy.
A little bit about my my headcanon for a good idea for a sequel to Partners in Time, where the Shroobs get defrosted from Bowser's cold storage, and now they're an endangered species on the mushroom world, and they separate into 2 factions. One of which they realize we're on a world now surrounded by people who hate and fear us. We've caused so much damage. Perhaps these Shroobs start to gain a bit of a conscience and learn some English and just try and live peacefully. But some other ones are keen on restarting the Shroob Empire and want to take over the world again. Now, I think that could be a really, really interesting idea. Have a Shroob civil war as a Mario and Luigi story, and could actually deal with some interesting themes of racism and whatnot, because there's bound to be lots of Mushroom Kingdom residents, especially older ones like Toadsworth, who remember the Shroob invasion and are going to really hate the Shroob and the Shroobs, and it's going to be difficult for them
Understandably.
to
Very understandably.
Yes, understandably, definitely.
But I do like that idea. I remember seeing that in the comment section, because I tend to be in comment sections looking at everyone and seeing how they enjoy the show, and I remember you saying that, and I was like, that'd be pretty good, in all honesty. It's not too far out of the question to have a civilization up in the mountains of Shroobs that are just scared to try to be accepted, or another empire down in the faces of Mario and everyone being all right, let's go, let's fight, It's not completely out of the question, and there have been civil wars and wars before in the series, so it's not out of the question to have a Shroob civil war.
That could be really interesting, I think, because the Shroobs are a fascinating concept in the Mario world. We've got a race of aliens you can't understand the language of, and they're bent on the destruction of all the species on the planet and want to take over the world. That's a really interesting concept for the Mario franchise, and they also threw time travel in there as well. So
yeah,
it was such a fascinating concept, and Partners in Time feels fairly underrated in the series, and I think that it would be great to bring them back. Although I did talk with somebody else in the comment section where it would make sense from a business perspective if they were to revamp the series, it makes sense to bring Forful back, but we're not talking about this. Today we're talking about Shroobs, and we're not just talking about my hypothetical game. So if anybody has anything Shroob related to talk about, go ahead.
Shroob, it's your floor, my buddy. I know this is your topic especially. Start it off.
Lots of expectations on you today, Shroob.
No pressure.
Oh, I'm great. I am having the best of days. Okay, but here's the thing about the Shroobs for me. I've played Partners in Time so many times, Like, I'm pretty sure I played at least 6. So, I played it a lot of times. So, in my mind, somewhat, the Shroobs have just merged. There's not too much that impressed me just because I'm so used to them. So, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to have to rely on what you guys bring to the table because my mind is just so numb of Shroobs. And that's not really saying I dislike them, but it's just, I know them so well. I mean, obviously, they create a great atmosphere. They create the Shroob Castle, which it's obviously very threatening, and it does fit Princess Shroom and the Shroob army in general. And I do like the opposing threat that they actually pose. That was some great sentence forming, but
great sentence, great grammar.
of course, opposing what they pose.
Yes.
So I mean, there's a lot of things that they do that just make it really creepy in Partners in Time. They're the reason why Partners in Time is so atmospheric and obviously scary. Not scary. That's like Yube's thing.
Like
but,
kind of disturbing, like creepy in a way, you know?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Holly
Tell
Jolly
us
Village,
about your-
Toad Town, obviously Shroob Castle. Like, there's just a lot of things that the Shroobs do that are very interesting. And it's why Toad Town, I really like it. Obviously, the music, there's some gameplay stuff, but we're not going to talk about that. Just the music, how the place looks, just how teared up it is. It's ridiculous.
And like, here's my thing too, because I actually recently started replaying Partners in Time again, and yeah, I did actually. And late at night, I know, right? And late at night, I was actually like chilling out. I was tired, and I didn't want to get up and like do anything else. And I was like, you know what? I want to pick up a portable game, and I was like, let's do Partners in Time again. And I started the cutscene off, and you bring up a very good point of like the developers wanting you to like be like not be scared of but creeped out by the Shroobs. Like the opening cutscene, even the monologue, it's just like out there in space there's a race looking to colonize or whatever it is. Like I don't remember the exact words, but it's like a very
that sounds too fancy for Nintendo to say.
I don't know, but like
their planet was kind of dying, so they were looking for a new place to live.
It's a simplification of that, yeah.
Yeah, just sorry to interrupt you here, but this just made me think of something. Like, in my idea for a new game with the Shroobs were looking for a new place to live because their planet were wrecked, and I suppose that could be for natural causes, or it could be because they treat their planet very poorly, I don't know. But, like, when they all come back out of Bowser's cold storage, what if there's some that are really into this conquest, and the others are like, no, this cannibalization of our old world didn't get us anywhere good. It's just going to happen over and over and over again. So there's a bit of a moral reasoning to the Shroobs some of the Shroobs not wanting to continue that cycle, because they're just going to be like, oh, we're just going to use up this planet and move on again. When is it going to end? Can't we just live a peaceful life and have a home that we get to stay on?
Exactly.
Anyway, carry on.
No, yeah, but like when I mean colonization, it's just me and my fancy college degree, but it is a simplified version of that. The story, like the opening scene, it's very Star Wars-esque, I remember, in a way. And they're just like, and the planet's dying and all that, and now they have their eyes set on a new kingdom to take over. And then there's like the silhouette of the Shroob and the evil laughter, and then it cuts to like the past. That is like a very different tone compared to every other villain's introduction in the series in a way, I feel like. Like, automatically, it's like the developers want you to be like, these Shroops are very serious. Like, they are nothing like Cackletta, nothing like Fawful. They are an alien race that later on in the game, you realize does some messed up stuff. And George brings up a good point about the cannibalization of their planet. Like, their home planet, I forget exactly if this is mentioned or not, but I really don't think their home planet is their own planet. I just think they're a race of continuous conquerors, and every time...
It wasn't explained in detail. It's just their planet is busted, they need to find somewhere else. They didn't go into detail about that, but it's interesting to read into it.
It is, and it is a very interesting read, especially because when you look at like how they drain the Toad's life force, for example, and how they and everything they do to the Yoshis. I just have
Did
this
you snicker at that, Shroob?
He did he did snicker at that, yeah. He's like, Toads, what losers. But like,
I know what I'm gonna talk about next.
Like, I just feel like that the Shroobs' own home, like the last planet that they were on, wasn't theirs, and that they're just a race of conquerors that are like out to make each planet their own. And once they use up all the resources of a planet and all the life forces, That's when they move on to the next one, and that's where you begin in the Mushroom Kingdom. Again, it's not set in stone. Wait, what were you saying?
The parasitic.
Yeah, very parasitic. It's not set in stone that they did this. It could just be their home planet, but it's very interesting to read into, and it's not out of the Shroobs' question, because again, we don't speak the Shroob language, Mario and Luigi don't. All we get is what's presented through us through the Shroobs' actions, and it gives you more imagination to work with compared to like Cacoletta's motives or Fawful's motives or like everything else. And that's why I feel like the Shroobs are probably a really good villain as like a race in this series, because there's a lot more open-ended to it that leaves it kind of like creepy, like, okay, this is a new direction. But Shroob, what were you gonna say?
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, so this is gonna go a bit different because I want to talk about. Well, I was gonna talk about Yub, but I don't think we should get there yet.
Good old you, but I knew you were gonna mention that.
I
the
want to get
dinosaur.
there, but I think we should go to. I really want to go to Princess Shroob and Elder Princess Shroob in general because they're like the leaders.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I feel like Princess Shroob is great. I mean, she is expressive, so she is somewhat funny, but she does do some really threatening stuff, like the missile, like when they're trying to get to Baby Bowser's castle.
Yeah.
They throw a huge missile at you and basically destroy the Koopa Cruiser.
Yeah, like,
So
it was insane. I got to that part before I fell asleep on the couch playing it, and I was like, oh, she tried to kill him. She tried to literally kill children.
Yeah,
that's the scary thing about the Shroobs. They're not trying to rule. They're not trying to take over the world, so to say. Well, they are, but they want total annihilation of all the species on the planet besides themselves.
Yeah, it's
That's a lot scarier than
Mhm.
I want to take over this world. It's much different.
It's a very different take over the world, like you mentioned. It's not just Bowser like, I want to take over the world and marry Princess Peach and have a Bowser kingdom. It's literally like, we're gonna take over the world, and that means destroying your world and making it our own. Plain and simple.
This is the sort of thing that Bowser would call overkill.
Yeah, oh my god. And I'm sure Bowser's called plenty of things overkill before, but he literally will be like, whoa, you guys need to chill.
Yeah, Bowser's said that King Ollie's plan and Count Bleck's plan are overkill. He wants to rule. He doesn't want to murder everybody. He's more of a cartoonish sort of villain.
Exactly.
Hmm.
But, Shroob, what were you going to continue with on Elder Princess?
okay. So, Princess Shroob, obviously a great villain. Like, I think she's obviously the shining part, but Elder Princess Shroob is, I don't know, I feel like she's worse, but I mean naturally worse because she's not shown in a great light because she's just trapped in the Cobalt Star. But she does sue. She does not sue. There's no lawyers involved. She does some stuff that's very.
Remember that part of Partners in Time when it just suddenly turned into a courtroom drama?
Welcome to
It's Ace Attorney now.
You've heard of law.
Princess Shroob walks up in a suit and then says, "You killed my sister." No, I didn't.
Mario's just like, objection.
I'm just thinking of a Shroob in a suit.
That should be in the thumbnail.
Princess Shroob looking all made up and in a suit and half glasses.
Oh my god, she's trying to rest her case, and the entire like jury's just like, what is she saying? Like, what?
It sounds sophisticated.
She speaks well, yes.
Well, Elder Princess Shroob is the one character, the one Shroob that just straight up speaks English.
She says
Which is-
destroy,
yeah, that's true as well. That's true.
That's really interesting.
She says destroy, which I find very interesting.
That's true as well.
I mean, her anger towards Mario and Luigi is kind of justified because they just killed her sister. And
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I would be pretty upset too. I'll take him to court next week. But it's interesting because, like, again, I don't know if this was anyone makes this direct correlation anymore, but back then there is a YouTuber I watched named Josh Scorcher, really awesome dude. He made a top 10 list for the darkest moments in Mario history, and number 1 was the Shroobs. And and what he brought up, and I don't know if this is directly stated in the game, this is the translation or anything between languages, but like the words that the Shroobs keep repeating and like the symbols that they have in a certain pattern to make words, he kind of connected it to them basically like when Elder Princess Shroob says destroy, after saying that word, like the word that they keep saying a lot is destroy.
Yeah,
So
the
there's
only word that we know from
exactly,
them isn't
exactly. That's the
and
only word we know. But like, wait, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
they chant it a lot. You're probably going to say that anyway. So.
They do say it a lot, yeah, and like that. Again, that just shows how ruthless they are. This isn't a standard Mario villain. This is something you would find in a high-class science fiction film,
Mm.
which I find
Yeah,
interesting.
if Partners in Time were a movie, it would probably be a horror movie.
Very
No.
much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of the Shroobs' intimidation and fear is in how little we understand about them, and we spoke about this a little bit before, and I talk about it in my proper Shroob video.
Mhm.
But like we don't know exactly what they're saying. We don't know about their background or anything. The only thing that we do know is that they want us dead, and that's all we really need to know to fear them. And they are scary. Like playing this game for the first time as a kid is scary. This was the first RPG I ever played, and they were very intimidating indeed.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I feel like as a kid, I was just really dumb and I didn't understand anything, so I was never scared.
You were like, scary.
You need to be cultured enough to find it scary.
you gotta have a high IQ to understand how scary this is.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah, but
Only smart people get scared.
but
That's why I'm never scared of anything.
Oh, come on now. But I do agree with you, Shroob, in a way that Elder Princess Shroob is kind of not as great as Princess Shroob. And maybe that's because, like, we don't, like you said before, too, we don't spend as much time with her. But at the same time, I'm not... If they do a sequel to this game, which, again, George, your story makes me really wish there was a sequel, and they explore this type of thing, maybe I could somehow, some way find her more intimidating, but I don't know. She just seemed like a standard, like, Lovecraftian monster to me as a final boss compared to Princess Shroob that was literally just a leader of a race out to just destroy everything. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, Elder Princess Shrew wasn't explored like at all. She popped out at the end.
Yep.
Talks a little bit about how much she hates you, and then fight time. But yeah, it would be interesting if they brought them back. If we could understand the Shroobs now, or at least like they're all trying to learn English because they're stuck on this Earth, this planet now. They need to speak the local language. And if like the new villain was like a high-ranking Shroob that we hadn't seen before, that we can now talk to, and really, if you think about it, like the Shroobs are kind of like Nazis because they are very xenophobic in that they want to, kill everybody else on the planet.
I did not expect that, if I'm being honest.
That would make it kind of very dark for a. Once you can understand what the Shroobs are trying to say, how they're trying to murder everybody and rule the world, it would definitely become even more darker than if you ask me, to be honest.
I
agree.
agree.
In time, the Shroobs were just like this force of nature that you don't really get, but you know that you need to fear them.
Yeah.
But as soon as they start talking about how devoted they are to mass murder, it suddenly becomes a lot more serious.
It does, and here's the funny thing for me, is that, and then if anyone else has anything, they absolutely can, but the funniest thing to me about all this is that at the beginning of the game, when they seem just like alien invaders, and that's kind of it, before you start to really look into their actions and realize they're kind of dark, the tone of like, and like the music, compared to what the Shroobs are doing for like the first hour, at least for like when you first go back to the past, completely out of sync. Like, you got the Shroobs kidnapping toads, shooting buildings and destroying villages. Meanwhile, they have the xylophone going in the background like it's some goofy, like, cartoon chase. And I'm like, what is this? And I don't know if they did that on purpose, so that way when you get the darker music going later on in the game with their actions, like, again, draining the life of toads. I'm gonna keep saying this because, dear goodness, that was horrific. Like,
how about the depressing rendition of Jingle Bells in Holly Jolly Village?
Yep, that's the one too. But I don't know. I feel like if the developers did that on purpose to make you think this was going to be another haha Mario and Luigi game, bravo to them. Like, seriously, bravo to them, because you could have easily taken the route of just making these guys alien invaders and making that out-of-touch synchronization between Shroobs' actions and the tone in the game with like the music and everything else building up. But they sort of took you on a ride, and that kind of makes the actions, I feel like later on, a bit more creepy in a way, if you ask me. Because at first you're like, oh, it's an alien invasion, and then it turns suddenly into destroying races. Like, and like you wouldn't think that because again, you're focused on the action happening, like the music at the time, what's going on, which just seems like a standard alien invasion. Like, it just all seems out of sync compared to what you get later on. And I commend the developers if they did that on purpose. But either way, it's just phenomenal.
It's an interesting difference between this and Super Paper Mario.
Mm.
Like, Super Paper Mario is... Similarly, Count Bleck has an atrocious plan. He wants to literally kill everything, including himself, in this game.
Yeah.
So really, Super Paper Mario, if you look at what the stakes are, is a lot darker and worse than what Partners in Time offers.
Yeah.
But in Super Paper Mario, you know about the void, you know about the stakes right from the beginning. It's there, the void is present in the sky wherever you go. You know about it, but the Shroobs, like, their atrocities are like gradually drip-fed to you as you go from place to place. You learn a new terrible thing that they've done, and that surprises you every time. You find a new reason to hate them every single place you go to.
Exactly. It's what was that, Shroob? Another snicker.
Just saying like every single time you hate them for each place you go to. It's that's pretty funny. But I want to quickly mention, as someone who's not a story person in the slightest, the only Mario RPG story that actually has an effect on me is Super Paper Mario. So that does not include Partners in Time. So I had to be a little cautious with it.
Mm-hmm.
But there is still stuff that the Shroobs do well, and you mainly have to impress me with the atmosphere of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why I was really impressed with places like Holly Jolly Village, Toad Town, Shroom Castle, kind of, but I mean, I guess you kind of expect it to happen.
I guess, yeah.
That Shroom Castle is interesting because, like, you've gotten used to this nice, friendly hub in the modern day. Like, this is the one safe place you can expect where you're not going to be hurt in Peach's Castle in the modern day.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go into Shroom Castle, and it's a horrifically nastied up version of this very familiar locale. So that was very interesting.
I don't know, I mainly focus on like this being the same location. That's the thing that impresses me more, instead of it being more of a creepy version. Like, I'm just more impressed that it's the same thing.
That's a fair way of looking at it.
Benson, you're not going to understand this at all because you haven't played Color Splash. But George, you remember in the Sea World for Chapter 4 where you had to go into like the parallel worlds?
Oh yeah, that was a really great bit of the game.
Yeah, that like made it really memorable until they just kept reusing it, and then it kind of got a little boring. But
yeah,
oh yeah,
it was really good to see.
It was creepy and weird, but the weird distorted music in that parallel world kind of gave me a bit of a headache after listening to it for a while.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Wait.
It's weird and not very comfortable on the ears.
What's the track called? I might have to look it up after, and while you're editing, I'm gonna be like, yeah, this is like you said, it's bad.
I don't know. It's in the Violet Isles, which is a place in Color Splash, but I don't know what it's called.
I think you should just look up Violet Isles, and then it'll probably come up like just normal version, and then the parallel version.
Probably.
The parallel version is the distorted one.
That's okay. That's the distorted one, I would imagine. Or I could just get a Wii U and play it.
Also, the backstory, because again, you haven't played it. The parallel has, well, normally like just normal world, like it's an island, like you're like just surrounded by water. In the parallel world, there's zero water, and there's just spikes coming up.
Interesting.
I really like it. Like, that's probably my biggest highlight from Color Splash so far.
All right. Duly noted. I will definitely now have to chuck down like maybe $60 for a Wii U if my local game store gets one again. That again, not to get off topic, but
okay, back to the Shroobs.
Yeah,
because you can look up shopping tips anywhere else on YouTube.
Look for my
someday we'll do a video where we stay on topic.
Look for my how-to.
Nah, that's never gonna happen.
Never look for my how-to on how to shop on the game dimension coming soon. Welcome to the shopping dimension. All right, but
Second channel question mark?
second
Yep,
channel.
spin-off second channel.
Spin-off second channel. There you go. Forget everything else I had planned. This is gonna be great. But you know, again, I haven't played Color Splash firsthand, so I wouldn't know. But from what you're talking about with this parallel world, and in comparison to like Shroop Castle, I get the gist of what you mean, and it definitely sounds interesting.
It do be good.
It do be good.
One more thing I wanted to talk a little bit about the Shroobs. Where is it?
I thought we were bringing up the big Yube. I was about to be like, is this where we bring up
Oh,
Yube?
yeah, let's
You.
hear Shroob's hour-long speech about Yube, shall we?
Your cue, Shroop.
Yay! Okay, Yube is the only scary part of Partners in Time. I've said this before, I'm not scared of it anymore. I'm 15 years old. I shouldn't be getting scared of something like that. It's definitely scary though, because every single Yoshi's getting eaten. I mean, it is somewhat comical, like the first time, like the green Yoshi literally saying, hey, release them, and then just Yube turns around, and then he just realized, like, uh-oh.
That is a little funny.
That was kind of funny, but like every single one is getting eaten, and then the Yube like sticks his tongue into the house with Mario and Luigi and the babies, like the one that they're inside. Obviously, they don't get eaten yet. That goes a bit later, but it's definitely scary, and it's good in that regard.
I gotta agree. Yube is an interesting, like, the Shroobs themselves are kind of terrifying, but not terrifying, but like creepy. But like the fact that they're like not just using like people for life force now, they're literally taking like and mutating another race in the form of like Yoshis. That's just kind of like a new horror on its own. It's not Cackletta possessing Bowser. It's like straight up changing an entire species for your like warmongering ways.
Yeah, they're turning innocent race into living weapons of theirs, which is and again back to the comment section. Or was it our own discussion? Like it was like what Cackletta did in Woohoo University, where she transformed some of the scientists over there into monsters that had to fight. I suppose it's similar to that.
It definitely is similar, but my thing is like in regards to like the Yubes, they're a bit like I don't know. It's just I feel like if there was a sequel, the Yubes should get a lot more shine. I feel like because those, quite frankly, you can do a lot with Yubes that in a way can be a bit more disturbing than Shroobs. Like Yoshis technically tend to eat a lot of things like fruit and enemies and stuff. Why not yet now the Yubes literally devour everything in sight even more?
Now the shoe is on the other foot and the Yoshis are getting eaten.
Yes, exactly. Like, it's just, there's so many things that they can do. Like, I just feel like in general, like, there's a lot more now that the Mario universe has expanded since Partners in Time. When did Partners in Time come out? Like 2004, 5-ish, I think?
I'm not sure. Early 2000s.
Yeah, definitely around there. Like, it's been a while, and, like, the Mario universe has definitely expanded. So, like, imagine what the Shroobs can do with, like, some of, like, the later enemies that we're getting now, or if they got their hands on people like Kamek and, like, all that other stuff. It'd just be interesting to me. Like, I feel like even though it was... Oh, go ahead.
I really wish that they were in Mario Galaxy. That could be really interesting, to be honest. What if there was a galaxy that was set in the Shroobs' destroyed old homeworld, and it were, like, really empty and barren and creepy and... Ooh, that could be really interesting. I'd love that.
And good.
And good. And here's my thing. Now that you bring up Mario Galaxy, like, we all know the Easter egg of, like, if you look up at a certain galaxy, you see, like, these weird figures staring down at you, correct?
Oh, yeah. Hell Valley Skytree.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one. Like, I
didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, so, like...
No, I mean, to be fair, I don't look at Easter eggs, but...
But...
Yeah, oh, it was in Mario Galaxy 2 in the...
Okay, that's more fair. That's probably why.
In Shiverland Galaxy. Have you not played that one, then?
I have, but barely. Not as much as Galaxy 1.
Okay.
Yeah, on the you're in the middle of this like massive, enormous canyon, and on the top ridge of one of the canyons, there's like these three creepy figures that stare down on you.
Yes.
They're just looking at you the entire level. They're never explained or anything. They're just there.
I wish they were Shroobs. That'd be a cool Easter egg if they did that. Like, just it, like the Shroobs, like the one, like I feel like too, the Shroobs that we saw, they're definitely, I feel like there had to be some sort of separation of Shroobs. Like, even though they had a home world, they're like different Shroobs going to conquer different parts of the galaxy. So
It would be interesting if, like we said a bit earlier, that they are parasitic. If they were like a disease spreading across the universe, and we had to like, oh, what if there was a Mario and Luigi spacefaring game where you had to go through that space and get rid of the rest of the Shroob invasions? Oh, there's so many interesting ideas that they could do. Like, the Shroobs are a very sci-fi sort of concept for a Mario game.
yeah,
And there's so many different ways that they could take that, to be honest.
it's a lot more open-ended than like Cackletta and so on and so forth, you know? Like, I absolutely
and even
agree.
Fawful to an extent.
Yeah.
To an extent, not like as limited as Cackletta, but I don't think you can do as much with Fawful as you can with the Shroobs.
Oh yeah. The Shroobs are a whole new race with an interesting way to them. There's all sorts of interesting stuff about them.
Mhm.
Now I'm looking at these old little paper comics that I made when I was a kid about the Shroobs. I called it The Last Shroob. And it is actually about Shroobs that survived to the modern day and actually like sort of teamed up with some of the good guys, and they try and help them rebuild the species peacefully. And I kind of want to read these for a video someday and
That'd
like,
be
show it off,
You
do
definitely
voices
should.
for it. And
You
stuff.
really should.
The writing in these that I did is actually really funny and good, and there's all sorts of cute, funny drawings in it and stuff. I'd really like to do that. Honestly, I kind of want to do a modern day comic series, doing it with pixel art.
I
That'd be
mean,
pretty neat.
there's no better time than now, honestly. But I don't.
This is an idea that I've had for a long time.
Mhm.
The sort of idea of the Shroobs getting sort of redeemed in the modern day. So
I
the
do
Shroobs
like it.
really captured my imagination when I was a kid. I always loved that.
I feel like a lot of fans, including us here, can agree. Like, in all honesty, because like you said, the Shroobs are like, and also been mentioned plenty of times before. The Shroobs are like a very big and broad sci-fi enemy. It's not like simple possession or Fawful. And like, we've talked before about Fawful and how his arc had a satisfying conclusion. That Dream Team sort of threw out the window. Like, at the end of the day, there's not much you can do with Fawful, especially after they gave him such a conclusion, and then like a weird nod in Dream Team that I hope that if they do sequels, they don't do, because the more I think about it, I don't want them to continue with Fawful. I would rather see the Shroobs come back first, because there's a lot more you can do with the Shroobs and exploring that dynamic. And again, George, your story idea of like having different Shroobs be like, oh, what we did was horrible, we're so sorry, and try to get involved, that is continuing down the path that Partners in Time really has, that sets it apart from all the Mario and Luigi games. It has a darker tone and a much bigger threat. So what better way to make a bigger threat from like an entire race than a civil war between the race that tried to destroy you that could easily still destroy your world just as badly.
Absolutely. Like, as much as everybody loves Fawful, and as much as like if they were to bring back the series, they're more likely to use Fawful because everybody loves him so much. He's a well-established character that everybody likes so much. So to be honest, in a business sense, it makes sense for them to use Fawful. I do think from a story perspective and what they could do, it would make a lot more sense to bring the Shroobs back. It is a shame that I think that Partners in Time is more underrated.
Yeah.
Not as many people herald it as their favorite, and I don't know about the sales. I don't know, but
I can look it up really quick and see how it's sold.
okay,
But
compare it to the others.
yeah, but I mean, it's interesting because it's weird because now I feel like Partners in Time is getting more recognition, and like the comment section before on the topics and the way we've talked about Partners in Time before, you would think that Partners in Time and like the Shroobs are like the most praised and highly sung about thing in the entire series, when it isn't. It's kind of overshadowed in ways to Bowser's Inside Story and Superstar Saga. Not to take away anything away from those games, but the way we talk about it so much, and the way people in like your comment section, George, and your comment section, Shroob, the way they talk about it, you would think it's like the most popular thing that would be brought back. And yet we're sitting here years later, and we got a Fawful reference, and yet no sign of the Shroobs ever again. Let me look this. You guys keep talking about Yub. We distracted from Yub or something, but I'm gonna look up the Partners in Time sales really quick.
Yub is thick. Okay.
He's just the fat Barney the dinosaur.
What's better, Yub or Barney the dinosaur?
Yub.
That's what I thought.
There's no question. Whoever says Barney deserves to get like eaten by Yub. Like, are you kidding me?
Where did all the Barney fans go?
That's a good threat right there.
That is
where did all the Barney fans go? There's a distant gurgling.
The deep-throated Yub roar, like and like gurgling. Oh my god! Imagine if they did like a 3D game. This isn't gonna happen, of course, but like a 3D game with Shroobs involved, and like Yub had a deep, curdling like rumble compared to Yoshi's cry of his name. Like Yoshi's is very high pitched, like Yoshi, and Yub is like Yub.
I believe that Yub actually has like a loud roar, doesn't he?
I believe he does.
He does actually. Yeah. So, like, imagine in a fully fledged proper 3D Mario game. Oh, you know, like how in Bowser's Fury, there's giant Fury Bowser around chasing you about. What if they did that but with you? But like in a
oh my
more
god,
enclosed, less big open space, and it's like a horror getaway section. You've got to be quiet and stealthy and not get caught by you.
Oh, that would be horrifying.
We've made you scary for Shroob again. Excellent.
Nintendo.
I wouldn't even want to play that. I'm not. That's really creepy.
I'm gonna play this. That is hysterical. But I do have a I do have a number.
Hire me as a game designer.
Nintendo, please hire George. But I do have a number.
Right,
this was in 2007. This is the last update. As of July 25th, 2007, so this is like a year or two after Partners in Time came out, I believe, because it came out 2005, if I'm looking correctly. It sold 1,390,000 copies.
Okay.
So not a lot.
How about Bowser's Inside Story?
Bowser's Inside.
Is there like a list that you can look at? Shows them all.
There's not a list. It's more like I have to look each one up individually.
Okay.
Inside.
Okay, well, I don't know if it really is that relevant to our
Oh, here we go.
conversation.
I do got
okay.
it though. So Bowser's Inside Story was the top-selling game in its first week of release in Japan at what was it? 193,000 copies. It sold 650,000 copies during the first half of 2009. It finished out the year as the 11th best-selling game at 717,940. And that is its first year. Compared to Partners in Time, where it was like 2 years down the road, it like reached 1 million, you know? Again, it's not the best sales. These two really didn't sell too well, but compared to like how long it took for Partners in Time to like get to 1 million in 2 years, compared to when Bowser's Inside Story nearly reached 1 million from what I'm looking at first glance and first blush, in like its first year almost, not even a year. That's pretty impressive for like Bowser's Inside Story, but kind of disappointing when it comes to Partners in Time, and probably plays a role in like, all right, nobody likes the Shroobs, we won't bring them back, which is far from the truth now.
So we're at 39 minutes now, so I think that we should definitely be wrapping up.
This was a fun one. This is interesting to talk about Shroobs.
Yes, this was good. We should definitely do more specific. Yeah, we all like the Shroobs. we should definitely talk more specific stuff more often. I liked this.
That was really fun. Yeah, I was worried because I was just like, how much can you talk about the Shroobs before you just kind of sit there awkwardly in silence going, I like Shroobs. Okay. And then silence for 5 minutes. Okay.
That sounded like me though.
Like no, like you know what I mean? There's like, but the fact that we lasted 39 minutes talking continuously about these guys and like even brainstorming ideas really again shows how underrated the game is and the Shroobs in general. Like again, I hope this is a very long shot. Nintendo, hire George. He's got good ideas for like the sequel.
Yes, please. Very creative mind. Love Mario games far too much. I'm a Mario nerd. Hire me.
George,
I couldn't have told him. I couldn't have told.
I couldn't tell.
Yep.
It's George Mario.
I tried to hide that fact I really, really tried to hide that fact. You might have cottoned onto it. Anyway, so thank you ever so much for watching, dear viewers. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe for more flatmates, roughly every 2 weeks, schedule and various circumstances permitting. But we're going to be continuing this series of various Mario RPG discussions, and I hope that you'll subscribe to see more of that and the various other bits of content that I offer as well. So, subscribe if you're interested, and until next time, farewell, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Oh no, he cut out. Bye.
Oh no, cut off. Oh,
There-
now everybody, your best Shroob impression. No,
I don't know.
I'm a Shroob.
Amazing. Shroop was the best one. There you go.
I am also a Shroob.
Destroy.
Wow.
Observe my mushroominess.
George, you can't use
And
that. I
weep.
am literally a Shroob.